All right, boys and girls, I'm going to go through IXL FF7 with you. I know I've had a lot of questions on how to understand area of a trapezoid. So they're going to break this down into two types of problems. So the first set is all about how you can use triangles to find the area of trapezoids. So what they want you to do is look at this dark purple figure and figure out how could you make a single cut so that you get two triangles. Remember, triangles have three sides. So if you look at these two examples that they want you to select from, okay, first example, those are two triangles, okay? Here's triangle 1, and then you have triangle 2. Okay, so that looks pretty good. The second example, however, has formed what looks to be a parallelogram in a triangle. So that's not what the directions asked us, so we're not going to go with this one. We're going to go with the one that has been split into two triangles. Now what you need to do is they've given you actual measurements of the sides. So we need to figure out what the area is of those two triangles. So I'm going to focus in on the first one. I'm going to outline it in yellow. Okay. So remember, area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So this triangle has a base of 2. Its height, if you think about it, has actually been constructed on the outside. So remember, the height has to go from the base to the opposite corner. So the line or the measurement that represents that is this 7 inches. Okay. So 2 times 7 is 14. 14 divided by 2 gets you an area of 7. Now we're going to focus on the second triangle. Okay. So area equals base times height divided by 2. The base is 8. The height is 7. So that's going to give us 56 divided by 2, which is actually 28. So this green triangle has an area of 28. So to figure out the total area, we would add 28 and 7. We're putting them together to get a total of 35. So if I go back, I'm going to input my answers, 7, 28, and then my total area, which is 35, because 7 plus 28 equals 35. All right, so second example, same thing. Cut it into two triangles. This trapezoid, they want it cut into two triangles. So if I look, first option, you should immediately know those two shapes that they've split are not triangles. They're not three-sided figures. So we have to go with option number 2. So if I take a screenshot now, I'm going to go ahead and find the area of my two triangles. So first one, again, I'll use yellow. So area equals base times height divided by 2. So in this example, my base is 3. My height has been drawn on the outside of the yellow triangles, but it's going to be 8 because it goes from the base, the 3, all the way to the opposite corner, and it makes a right angle. So 3 times 8 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So the area of this first triangle is 12. For the second triangle, area equals base times height divided by 2. My base is 7. My height is 8. I'm dividing that by 2. So 7 times 8 is 56. 56 divided by 2 is 28. So now to find the total area, I would add 28 plus 12, which gets me 40. So if I go back and input my answers, 12, 28, and a total of 40 square miles. All right, now the next set of examples has different directions. This time, they want you to find the area of the trapezoid by copying it and forming a parallelogram. So in order to do this, okay, we first have to do a little refresher on what our parallelograms are. So remember, parallelograms are quadrilaterals whose both sets of opposite sides in the shape are parallel lines. So some examples are a rhombus, a simple a parallelogram just like this, okay, a square, and a rectangle. Those are parallelograms because opposite sides are parallel. So when you look at these figures, okay, you'll notice that both are parallelograms. However, the directions say which one made a copy of the original shape and put it together to form a parallelogram. That is not going to be option 1. That is option 2. If you look, and I'm outlining it, this dark blue trapezoid is the original shape that you see up here. What they've done is they've taken that and they've flipped it upside down and made like a double or made a copy and flipped it upside down, put it together with the original, and together they make one giant parallelogram. Okay? So based on the directions and what they're asking, copying and forming a parallelogram, that is going to be the second option. So now what we need to do is use this figure to find the area of the original trapezoid. So we know that area of a parallelogram, the formula is area equals base times height. Now, one thing I want to keep in mind, that if you look at the figure, maybe I'll use yellow, it'll be better. When they flipped it upside down in the second, the original bottom then became the original top. So if this is 8, this is 8. And same thing here. The shorter piece that's on the top in the original is now on the bottom when it got flipped upside down. So because this is 6, this piece is going to be 6. So to find the total base of your parallelogram, you have to add the 8 and the 6 together. And that's going to get you a total base of 14. 8 plus 6 is 14. So your base of your parallelogram is 14, and your height is 8 because it makes that right angle. So when I go over here to do my base times height, I'm really doing 14 times 8. Okay? So when I do 14 times 8, I get 112. So the area of the parallelogram is 112 square feet. Now the next question is asking for just the original trapezoid. So if we think about it, we just want the original dark blue shape. We don't want this part, the part that got copied and flipped upside down. So because it's a copy, we need to split it into 2 parts, the parallelogram into 2 equal parts. So when you do that, 112 divided by 2, if you do your long division, you can do it over at the side, okay, means that the area of just that one trapezoid is 56. Okay, and you could always check yourself by going back and saying, okay, well, if one trapezoid's 26 and the other one's a copy, then for 56, okay, this is 56, and its copy was also 56. Together, those make 112, which is the area of your parallelogram. But remember, the question really is just wanting to know the area of one trapezoid. So if I go back input my answers. There you go. Okay. I'll do one more example like this. So you can find the area of this trapezoid by copying it, forming a parallelogram. So again, looking at your two choices, knowing what you know about parallelograms, that's going to be option 1. It's 4-sided figure, opposite sides are parallel. So, oops. Let me take a screenshot. Let's go ahead and let's find the area. So like we said, this was duplicated. So this long side, when it got duplicated and flipped upside down, is now here. And then the short side, 5, is down here. Okay? So to find total area, we would add 9, or total base, 9 plus 5, which is 14. So the base of your parallelogram, okay, this whole base is 14, and the height is 8. So to find area of a parallelogram, we do base times height, which in this situation will be 14 times 8. So if I do my multiplication off on the side, you get 112, just like we did with the last problem. Okay, so the area of the parallelogram is 112. But then, if we look at the next question, it just wants the trapezoid. So we're going to cut this parallelogram into 2 equal parts. Okay, we don't want this anymore. So 112 divided by 2, okay, is going to give you just that single parallelogram, which is going to be 56 square millimeters. All right, so 112, 56. Sorry if you can hear my dog snoring. And that is your final answer. Okay? So, your job is to now go ahead and to try these on your own. Again, make sure you're listening or reading the directions very carefully. If it says split it into triangles, make sure you're looking for the option for triangles. If it asks you to copy and form a parallelogram, make sure you're identifying the parallelogram.